Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. This is the math lesson for Thursday, May 14th. It is our last lesson on partitioning rectangles. So hooray, we did it, we finished it up. You guys have done a great job. I've seen a lot of great work on Seesaw, so way to go. I think most of you are remembering the most important thing is that when you put squares into a rectangle to divide them up, the squares have to be the same size. They just have to be. So if you remember that, and if you remember rows, what rows are, those go across, and that columns go up and down, you have got it made for this section of our math. Okay, this is the geometry section. Some of the stuff you might see next year on that third grade math test. So you're doing great, and we'll just finish it up here today. We're on page 733. It looks like this. We're going to look at number 1. We're jumping right into apply it. And I think the reason they're doing that is because by now we have spent almost 2 weeks doing this, and I've reviewed with you the most important points, so they're just going to jump right into it. It says, number 1, Winnie fills this rectangle with squares. Which statement describes her rectangle? So remember, when you divide, you start, here's your rectangle. And notice how all of her squares that she filled this rectangle with are exactly the same size. Now, let's count. How many rows do we have? There's 1, 2, 3. And then how many squares in each row, or how many columns do we have? So we had 3 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. Or another way to say it is 3 rows with 7 in each row, or 3 times 7. Or 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Okay, or 7 plus 7 plus 7. So what I need you to do is pick one of these. Which statements? There are at least two of them, because there's an S. So it says there are 3 rows of 7 squares. If that's true, fill it in. There are 7 rows. Remember, rows go this way. 7 rows of 2 squares. There are 8 rows of 3 squares. There are 6 columns of 3 squares. Or there are 7 columns of 3 squares. So there are 2 that are correct there. Okay, go ahead and fill those 2 in. Should be nice and easy for you. Number 2, Craig is partitioning this rectangle with squares. Will he find the correct number of squares that fills the rectangle? So this is what Craig did. Here's his rectangle, and he's going to go ahead and fill it with squares, which he did, but did he partition it? Is this, I mean, look at these 2 rectangles. So the question says, will he find the correct number of shapes, or squares, that fills the rectangle? So yes or no, he did this right, and explain what happened here. Okay, so you should be looking at this right now going, oh my goodness, this is so easy. I've spent 2 weeks on this, and I already know what he did wrong. Now you just have to write it in words. That's what they're going to be looking for on the third grade test. Can you write it in words and explain what he did wrong? Okay? And then the last page, hooray, page 734, we're on number 3. Lewis fills this rectangle with equal size squares. Which equation could he use to find the total number of squares? Now, equation does not have an S, so it means just 1. So an equation is a number sentence. Remember, sometimes on that third grade test, they use a lot of different terms that mean the same thing. So would it be 4 plus 7 equals 11? Well, when I look at this, I think there's more than 11 squares. So remember, your answer here has to be the total number of squares here. Would it be 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals 21? Well, let's see. How many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4 rows. Let's count the columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. Not so sure. How about letter C? 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals 28. How many? A row of 7, a row of 7, a row of 7, another row of 7. Or 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 24. So look at the answer, count your squares. That'll be the help you need. Number 4, Jamal starts making a design with orange squares. Okay, so this is what he started with. If this were in color, these would be orange. So he had those 4 in the corner, and then he started dividing, because when we partition rectangles, they have to be all the same size. The squares inside have to be the same size. How many more squares does Jamal need to fill the rectangle? Well, wasn't this nice? They already put the dotted lines in. So here's a hint. Do not count these, because it says how many more. So how many did he have to add after he already had these? And you can write that answer. They didn't really give you a place for it, but you can just make your own number line and tell me how many more he had to add. And then the last one is how many are there all together. So you're going to count these as well as the ones you added, and your answer will go right here. Okay, and the last one, we're almost there, hang in there. Number 5, what are 2 different ways you can find the total number of squares in this partitioned rectangle? So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. How many in each row? 1, 2. So 2 in each row. So I'm going to do 1 for you, and I'm going to leave 1 for you. So I could say 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 2 equals 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's saying this. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 10. I saved the column for you. So you're going to give me a number sentence that looks like this. Okay? And you're going to get that by going, oh, how many in this column? How many in this column? And that's it. That is the end of partitioning rectangles. You are completely finished with it. So if you have questions, make sure you ask. You can email me. You can have your parents send me a remind, whatever you need to do. And then tomorrow's lesson, I sent you, your parents should have printed out one of those emoji pictures, but it's with time. So remember how those work. You're going to write the time underneath the clock, have your parents or your older brother or sister or someone check it, your grandparent, before you start coloring to make sure you have all the times right. And it tells you what color each time should be. So have fun with that. It'll be a good Friday activity. And if you're not finished with your iReady minutes, you have until tomorrow, till Friday, to get those finished. So get started and have fun with the emoji picture tomorrow. Bye.